Hey everybody, Brian Zane here, and it's time for my review of NXT Takeover Portland. Very excited to see my hometown represented, getting some NXT love this weekend. Though I have to say, though, the bridge that they show for the majority of their branding and stuff during the show, that didn't sit well with me. To me, that's not a very representative picture of Portland. They would make up for it in the mid-show bumps, showing you the skyline, the coin tower, the bank building, all that stuff, the St. John's Bridge. That to me is a lot more iconic of Portland than whatever the newer bridge they showed there. That kind of irked me, but that's kind of a nitpick. Anyway, the show opens up with the hype package, and it's narrated by a retelling of Teddy Roosevelt's The Critic quote, which I actually heard for the first time very recently, so kind of very resonant in my mind. And then we get a performance from Poppy, NXT's favorite band in the whole world. I know I'm not the first person to make this observation, but Poppy is basically NXT's Limp Bizkit from the Ruthless Aggression era. Anyway, the show opens up with a North American Championship match as Keith Lee defends against Dominic Dijakovic. Speaking of the Portland flavor, I did pop for Mauro Ranallo, name-dropping Buddy Rose and Roddy Piper as fierce rivals, talking about the rivalry between Lee and Dijakovic. A for effort by Nigel, though, because he refers to the old promoter of the territory as Don Owens, pluralizing his name. His name was Don Owen. Common misconception, but I'm going to stop talking about the whole Portland stuff. Anyway, standing Hurricane Rana by Keith Lee in the first minute of the match, and then he also catches Dominic on the outside as he's doing a plancha, catches him, goes for a powerbomb, but Dominic's able to fight out of it. Very hard-hitting affair. Actually, the bell curve for this is acrobatics, big slowed down Hossy fight, and then it goes back to the acrobatics at the tail end, kind of inverted bell curve. But we do get some exciting moments in the middle of all that. For example, huge corkscrew moonsault by Dijakovic and a kick out, a top rope feast your eyes, and a pounce. They fight on the outside. They fight for a very long time out there. I guess the 10 counts is kind of, whatever. The referee's letting all this slide. There's no 10 count at this point, but it's made up for the fact that Dominic does this crazy springboard plancha to the outside onto Keith Lee, who's been knocked out in an office chair. Absolutely insane. And then more big guy flippy stuff. There's backflips out of choke slams. There's a spirit bomb by Lee, which Dominic strong styles and no sells it. Gets another spirit bomb and a kick out. We get a top rope Spanish fly by Dominic near the end and a kick out. By that point, I'm like, fuck out of here. Anyway, though, he goes for the feast your eyes, but his back gives out. Lee hits the Big Bang Catastrophe to win and retain the championship and their sportsmanship. You always love to see that. I give this one 5 stars out of 5. This was a hell of an opener, and I think there's a lot of hype behind this match based on their history. This match to me more than lived up to the hype with these guys and the rivalry they had several months ago, and then it turned into a friendly, face-ish kind of rivalry. Still going here. No one here was really the heel. These guys really acknowledged, yeah, we're some big boys fighting, and that's kind of how they played it up. It's they're just trying to one-up each other the whole time, and that was very entertaining to watch. And yeah, there was a whole bunch of different speeds with this. There was the crazy flippy stuff. There was the big man fighting stuff. Very satisfying conclusion. Loved it. Up next, a street fight between Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai, who pressed X during Tegan's entrance to jump her during the entrance there. Very aggressive from the start. By the way, Dakota's new shirt shows she's been promoted from a captain to a king. Good for her. Also, I love the fact that in this street fight where the rules are you can fight literally anywhere in the arena, in the streets or whatever, it can't start until both people are in the ring. There's got to be decorum, folks. At one point on the outside, Nox puts a trash can on Dakota's head, goes for what they call an inverted senton, but it just looks like she eats shit because I think she's a bit short of her target. They set up Chekhov's table on the outside. We'll be seeing more of that later. Meanwhile, big German on the trash can by Tegan as well. And there's a big-ass choke slam by Tegan, and the bump that Dakota, she jumps up and then takes a flat back bump from the top rope onto the floor. That looked pretty hard to take. And a Molly go round. We get a kick out from that as well. We get duct taped to the ring post. We get an attack from a laptop at the ring announcer's area onto Dakota's leg, and now Tegan is really showing her aggressive side. She Pillmanizes Dakota's leg with a chair, hits the shiniest wizard. You think she's going to cover her and win the day, but no, she's not done with Dakota yet. She wants to put more of a hurting on her fierce rival. Where have we seen this before? Gosh, I'm sure this plan of mine is going to go off without a hitch. Psych! Out comes Raquel Gonzalez, formerly Reina Gonzalez of the Mae Young Classic. She runs in and jumps Tegan and saves Dakota. She slams her. She's supposed to go into the table or through it, but she clips the table edge, and so just flips down. That was very painful. More painful than just taking a flat back bump from the top onto the canvas. There's also a big "Who are you" chant from the Portland crowd as well. Dakota pins and wins. She looks very confused by all this. Does not appear to be in cahoots with Raquel, but Raquel raises her hand anyway, and that's pretty much that. I give this one 4 stars out of 5. This was fun. Lots of crazy spots here. I don't like the fact, though, if I had to pick one shortcoming with this thing, was they went with what I call pulling a Gargano, where the babyface making the big fiery comeback, and then like the term is blinded by revenge. Oh, they want to put a hurting on there. I feel we've seen this spot done a lot in NXT with the namesake of Johnny Gargano, and so to see it again played out here, and again, there's the parallels between Team Kick and Team DIY breaking up, and the babyface is so gung-ho about putting a hurting on them, they lose sight of the mission and the objective, and it ends up screwing them over. We saw that exact same thing happening here. Besides that, though, I think it was a really fun and frenetic brawl with a lot of crazy spots in there. But yeah, anyway, it was one of my favorite matches of the night. But speaking of which, Johnny Wrestling himself takes on Finn Balor in a grudge match with a long time coming here, who is truly the heart and soul of NXT. That's what we're going to find out here. By the way, Johnny's comic book tribute du jour in his gear is Carnage, who, honestly, my only exposure to Carnage is from the Super Nintendo game Maximum Carnage from a very long time ago. I didn't really follow up on the Carnage character. Lots of good graps to start things off until things escalate to a spear on the apron, like things often do. Fighting on the outside, and Finn grabs the advantage. Big dragon screw over the top rope, just working the leg. This match really feels like a come down, but after the first two. So many wild, gimmicky matches and everything with like, here's 2 big guys like bopping heads and everything, and here's this brawl with the women. This one is far more technical, it's far more submission based, it's still exciting, but it's definitely a definite change in direction and pace from the previous 2 matches. Johnny, of course, stops selling his leg altogether as he makes his comeback, running across the ring multiple times. No problem for the guy who just had his leg worked over for the last several minutes. Big back and forth in the ring. At one point, Johnny lawn darts Finn into the corner. Doesn't get quite all of it, though. On the outside, Gargano's got things in hand. All of a sudden, oh, look at that nice announce table over there. That would be fun to put somebody through it, and I'm sure nothing bad is going to happen. Psych. Of course, his plans go awry. Johnny Gargano pulled a Gargano, and so Finn hits him with a big running drop kick from one table to the other into the barricade. We get the coup de grace. We get the 1916. Finn Balor wins this very hard-fought match. I give it 3.5 stars. I just couldn't believe that 2 matches in a row we get some version of the Gargano finish, where the babyface is blinded by revenge, wants to do some extra damage, and oh, it goes up from under them. Now, in terms of just pure finish, the street fight and this one are very different. Balor pretty much wins clean, and then Dakota won the last match with help from this extra person going through a table and everything. So yes, by that definition, the finishes are very different, but the pivotal point that led to those things were mirror images of each other. And I already said in the last match how tired that finish is at NXT, so we get it 2 times in a row here. That to me was a bit much. But I think the match itself, like I said, was exciting. I think it started out a bit too slow at the beginning for my liking, though. And yeah, again, just the repeating of that kind of finish and that ending, that climactic point, that didn't really sit well with me at all. But besides that, the physicality and the work was good.
Hey, Robert John, I just wanna say, tell me that you're not my type, tell me that you're gay.
She gonna make a man out of you, boy.
Backstage, the Undisputed Era are interviewed. Roderick Strong, he talks about his match with Velveteen Dream on Wednesday, plays the hype man for the rest of his boys, then Adam Cole giving Kathy Kelly a send-off for her final night on the job. Now you can leave. Rhea Ripley defends the NXT Women's Championship against Bianca Belair, who earned the spot by winning a Battle Royal several weeks ago. Bianca with a cool Egyptian-looking outfit for her entrance, and on the back of her robe says Black History in the Making. Very cool stuff. Rhea beginning strong with some chops, but there's more good back and forth. Rhea putting Bianca in her reverse Texas Cloverleaf, like spanking her for good measure there, but Bianca does fight out. They exchange some slaps in the corner. Bianca introduces the hair whip into the equation, showing that big strength and dumping Rhea from the top rope. Great sequence where they try each go for each other's finishers, and Bianca takes a boot and just counters with a spear right afterward. Big ass backdrop to the outside and a big plancha by Bianca. In the corner, Rhea goes for a top rope sunset flip. Bianca blocks it, but Rhea is able to maneuver into a riptide from the top rope to win the match, retain the championship. Doesn't celebrate for long, though, until Charlotte Flair appears. She jumps Rhea from behind, and at one point, I think her watch cuts her wrist there. there on the top. You see some blood hanging down from her hand there. She says she accepts Rhea's challenge for a match at WrestleMania, hits her with natural selection, and then decides to beat up Bianca a bit on the outside for good measure. So I think this could be one of two things, where it still leaves the possibility open for a triple threat like I've been talking about on Wednesday Warfare. But if that's not the case, maybe, I think I saw Brian Alvarez tweet this tonight, and it raises a very good point. They might just have Charlotte face Bianca in singles action on NXT just to help pop a rating or something, which I'm open to that as well. I'm torn as to whether or not I want a triple threat at WrestleMania, because like Charlotte's been in a lot of triple threats at Mania. Let's be honest, it's kind of her forte, is multi-person matches. I think she's been in maybe one singles match at WrestleMania since she's been called up, and so it'd be nice to give her another one with Rhea Ripley. It's good for both of them, really. But I think Bianca also deserves to be in that spot as well. But like, have we seen enough women's triple threats? We just saw a women's triple threat, last year. That was the biggest match. Do we really want to see another one back to back? That one I'm on the fence about. But I think that no matter where they go with this, I'm excited for all three women involved. That being said, I give this one 3 stars out of 5. I think it was a good match. I think it was above average, but it lacked a lot of the drama and the excitement that we'd seen in the previous 3 matches. So of the 2 ladies matches on this show, I would give the nod to the street fight. I enjoyed it a lot more, but this is still a solid match nonetheless. NXT tag titles on the line as the Undisputed Era defend against the Broserweights, Matt Riddle and Peter Dunne, who show up in the Broserweight mobile with the trophy and everything. They're wearing matching t-shirts, and Matt, first of all, I love it because he fucks up the name of his own team immediately on the mic.
The Broserweights got one question.
Then he leads the crowd into a big "How much fish could Bobby Fish fry" chant, along with text on the bottom of the screen and "Follow the bouncing fish." I died when I saw that. That was so entertaining. It's cut off by a big brawl on the outside. Also points to the Broserweights for wearing some local colors. They're wearing black and orange, Oregon State colors. I'm not going to take too much offense at that because I'm a duck. So why isn't Matt Riddle wearing the green and yellow? Because Eugene, pot. It makes so much sense. But missed opportunity there. I'm going to let it go at that point though. Fish and O'Reilly messed Dunn up in a couple of ways in the ropes, on the apron and everything. Dunn is able to hit an enziguri and get a big hot tag to Riddle. Double flying attack backfires for Riddle though as Kyle puts the knees up. Riddle goes into strong style mode, no sells O'Reilly's offense and just takes him down. Riddle will get taken down himself, but is able to fight back, tags in Dunn. Double in this spot here, it's kind of like one of the trademarks now, I feel, of NXT Tag Team Championship matches. There's the double submission where, oh yeah, and then something happens. Like this was a bit of a spin on it where it's like double submission, both the Undisputed Era is able to counter out of it, hit submissions of their own, but then Matt fights out of it, hits a knee, and then breaks it up for both guys. A couple of Broserweight miscues, some close calls that sees them almost lose, but Dunn is able to kick out of chasing the dragon, which is very impressive. Blind tag to Riddle, he gets in there and he and Pete take out the Undisputed Era. He pins Fish and the Broserweights win the Tag Team Championships. So it's Matt's first championship at NXT. It's Pete's first title since losing the UK Championship last year. And these two guys, I didn't think they were going to win in this matchup here, but they really blew me away with this one. I'm going to give it 4.5 stars out of 5. One of my favorites of the match. Really fun, and just really fun storytelling here. The drama of, the miscues and everything. It's almost costing them, but they're able to persevere. Great mix of submissions and striking. And if you wanted to include the stuff, the shenanigans at the beginning with the "How much fish could Bobby Fish fry," that was also very entertaining. But yeah, satisfying ending. Cool to see the Broserweights as the champions. I know some people have an issue with the fact that the last several of the Dusty Classic Tag Team Champion winners have not been established tag teams, and this is one of them. But I think that if we're trying to change things up and just kind of like shake things up with NXT a bit, taking the belts off the Undisputed Era, not the worst idea in the world. And like I said, Riddle and Dunn are over like crazy, so giving the belts to them makes a lot of sense. Now it's time for your main event. Adam Cole Bay defends the NXT Championship against Tommaso Ciampa. In the beginning, Tommaso's got an answer for everything Adam's doing here. At one point on the outside, Cole wants to try and steal Tommaso's gimmick, but Ciampa's having none of that shit. He gets his licks in, then pats his own back. At one point, he beats up Cole in the corner, and one fan is very much into this. We get a wheelbarrow spot. Cole wheelbarrows Ciampa onto the announce table, and like his back just hits like the edge of the table. It looked so brutal. middle, and we see Ciampa sell in the back of the head. Oh, but we're all focusing on the back. That's what looks like it really hurt there. Cole's now working the back and neck area of Ciampa, but Tommaso's able to fight back, hits a big air raid crash from the top, but there's a kick out there. Powerbomb onto the Spanish announce table, then another one for good measure. Finally it breaks. That Spanish announce table took a lot of punishment on this night, I think. Later on, Cole goes for a dive to the outside, but Ciampa actually intercepts him in midair. They fight on the ropes, and we get a very innovative pile driver where Cole just like sits on Ciampa as he's like his head is between the top and middle ropes, and then we get another neck drop and a kick out. We get a last shot, but Ciampa rolls to the apron. Cole goes to the Panama Sunrise, but Ciampa's able to hit an air raid crash on the apron as well. Then a Panama Sunrise on the floor. This is just an insane match. These guys are so aggressive here. Ciampa with a fairy tale ending. Then we get a kick out. Roderick Strong shows up and distracts the referee. Fish and O'Reilly joining the fun, but that's still not enough to put Ciampa away. He is single-handedly able to take out the cronies of Undisputed Era, but we get a referee bump, and he's taken out for a little bit here. Ciampa hits a fairy tale ending again. There's no referee, but the fans are chanting along. They get to about 15 or so. Suddenly, Johnny Gargano shows up wearing a DIY shirt, presumably to cheer on Ciampa, and then he grabs the belt. He grabs Goldie from Ciampa, and then the unthinkable happens. He hits Ciampa in the dome with Goldie, and then Cole pins him, wins, and retains the title as we fade to black. Man, 5 stars out of 5. This was a great match. It was almost a bit too overbooked, but the stuff at the end with Undisputed Era, it's very on brand. The twist was, it was different. It was a bit surprising. Was the good kind of surprising? I don't know. But the physicality, and we'll have to put a pin in that one, but the physicality of this one and the story they told and the action was just, it was very suspenseful, very edge of your seat stuff. I very much enjoyed this match. They really brought it here. But my big question is, the one thing that really stuck in my craw with this match was, why did they turn Johnny Wrestling heel? That seems to me like, okay, obviously Triple H refuses to let this go. He wants a conclusion to this feud if it kills him. So we're going to get this match in Tampa. Gargano, Ciampa, with the roles reversed. Because last time they fought, it was Gargano who was the babyface, Ciampa the heel. Now it's flip-flopped. They're friends, enemies, friends kinda, enemies again, friends kinda, enemies again. We've been seeing this flip-flop with them, I feel, for so long now. It's like, also, Gargano as a heel, I don't think works. We saw it happen last year. They tried it, and then it just turned out to be a bust, because then Ciampa got hurt, and so they couldn't get the heel DIY reunion, and so then also, I don't think Ciampa was very good as a babyface. Kind of like when Daniel Bryan turned heel and won the title a couple years ago, and I was like, how are they going to justify this big fairy tale story of Bryan coming back and make him turn heel and make it work? Like, Daniel made it work. I don't think Gargano's got the charisma and the chops, the entertainment chops that Daniel Bryan does to make a heel persona work. I think he does much better as an underdog babyface. We will see how this goes. And like I said, Triple H is going to get this conclusion to this feud come hell or high water. We'll see where it goes. I'm going to kind of like reserve judgment for it, but I am just, why? Why do they turn Gargano? It just, I don't care for it. My final grade for NXT Takeover Portland is an A-. Aside from a couple of nitpicky things I had with the booking in terms of the Gargano finish a couple matches in a row, one of which involving Gargano, and then his heel turn by the end of the night, those things, it doesn't take away from what's overall a very, very entertaining takeover. One of the strongest I've seen in a while. Could be on pace to be one of the top takeovers to beat this year. Overall, fantastic night of wrestling with a couple of matches that are definitely worth some rewatches. In particular, the Lee Dijakovic match, and in my opinion, the street fight with Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai. Yeah, like I said, a couple of nitpicky things, but does not diminish from the overall experience. Go check this one out. But let me know what you thought about TakeOver in the comment section below. Give it a letter grade by going to the iCard in the corner of your screen. I'm Brian Zane, and I'll see you next time.